Hey, what's up you guys? My name's Tyler Rugge. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I wanted to talk about these two enclosures behind me. We have an Exo-Terra and a Zen Habitat. I'm going to be comparing them, going through all the differences between them, maybe helping you decide which enclosure might be best for you. Some of you may know I do have an affiliate link with Zen Habitats, and that will be down in the description below. So if any of you guys are interested in purchasing anything from the Zen Habitats website, make sure to use my affiliate link. And I do not have an affiliate link with Exo-Terra or anything like that, but you can pretty much buy Exo-Terras at like any pet store. And just because I have an affiliate link with Zen Habitats and I've worked with them, I'm not going to exclude any of my thoughts about Zen Habitats. I'm not going to try to make this biased in any way. I've used Exo-Terras basically almost since I started keeping reptiles, and then I've been using Zen Habitats for the past few years, pretty much since they first came out. So I've used both enclosures for a long time and have a pretty good feel for the different strengths and weaknesses between the two. So I'm just going to be going over a few different things. Main things I'm going to be going over for these enclosures are the looks, durability, and their functionality. Over here, we have an Exo-Terra. This is an 18 by 18 by 24 Exo-Terra. And then we have a Zen Habitats. This is a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot. These are just the most comparable in size between the two of them. So Exo-Terra has a ton of different size and shaped enclosures. They have one that's like a 40-gallon breeder. They have one that's like a 40-gallon breeder but a little shorter, 18 by 18 by 24, 12 by 12 by 18, and just like a billion different other sizes. But I'm pretty sure the largest terrestrial enclosure they have is their 40-gallon breeder, whereas Zen Habitats comes in only a few different sizes. There's also ways to connect Zen Habitats together and make even bigger enclosures, different shapes and sizes. And we're gonna get into that a little bit later in the video. What's nice about Zen Habitats is overall they come in larger sizes than Exo-Terras do. Zen doesn't offer the smaller sizes that Exo-Terra offers, but I personally don't find this to be an issue because I just find with all of the reptile care standards growing and changing over time, we're tending to give our animals larger enclosures anyway. So a lot of the really small enclosures that Exo-Terra makes aren't really good for much, just depending on what you're keeping, unless you're keeping like a juvenile animal or maybe some sort of invertebrate. And of course, there are some reptiles that can be kept in smaller enclosures, but for the most part, most things need bigger enclosures. I almost forgot the price point. That's an important one. The 18 by 18 by 24 Exo-Terra, the price is really gonna vary depending on where you purchase it. But I find that they're usually between around $120 and $150. They could maybe be more in some places, but for the most part, that's probably about the range you're gonna get one in at a pet store. And this 2 by 2 by 2 Zen Habitat is $319. And that includes shipping because they offer free shipping on their website on all orders over $99. So the Zen Habitat is more expensive. However, keep in mind, this is a larger enclosure and you are also kind of paying for shipping within that cost. The 4 by 2 by 2 Zen Habitat is about $350, and then the 40-gallon breeder Exo-Terra is around $190. So again, the Zen Habitat is a bit more expensive. However, the 4 by 2 by 2 is much larger than a 40-gallon breeder, which is like 36 by 18 by 18 or something like that. Something like that, I don't know. I can't remember. So overall, the Zen Habitats run a little bit more expensive than the Exo-Terras, but I'm gonna get into the main differences between them, and there are certain reasons why I think Zen Habitats are worth the extra money, but also, like I said, they are larger. So you need to keep that in mind as well, and the shipping and all that stuff. Moving on, we're gonna first talk about the looks of both of these enclosures. So starting off with our Exo-Terra over here, it's made out of glass and plastic pretty much. And then there is also the screen top. It's just kind of your classic looking enclosure, glass on all sides, transparent, front opening. It has the two doors that open like this with a latch, black plastic that kind of goes around it. I will say the plastic is a bit flimsy when you have the doors open. you'll notice that this like bends quite a bit. It's pretty flimsy plastic, but it's just your standard reptile enclosure basically. It also has ventilation in the front, which is nice. I mean, that's basically it for that. So as far as the Zen Habitats go, there's two options for some of their sizes. This one in particular comes in PVC, but I know the 4x2x2 and a couple of the other sizes come in either wood panel or PVC. Wood panel's good if you need an enclosure that's more of an arid setup. What's nice about PVC is you don't have to worry about the humidity being too high. It can handle up to 100% humidity. Both of them have the wood look. Like they look pretty much the same. The door in the front is acrylic. The frame going around it is anodized aluminum, and the screen is galvanized steel. Overall, I'll say that, I mean, we're gonna get into the durability, but it's made out of, I would say, a little bit stronger materials. We're gonna get into the durability aspect, and I will be later on in this video having my dog jump on the enclosures and dropping stuff on them to test the durability. So stay tuned for that at the end of it. So stay tuned for that later on in the video. Yeah, those are the main differences between the two. They look very different. What I can appreciate about the Exo-Terra is it's just a very basic looking enclosure. Like I feel like anyone could like the way the Exo-Terra looks. The Zen Habitat is more of like you either like the way it looks or you don't like the way it looks because it's very specific with the wood and the color of it. And some people just don't like the way they look. And if you don't like the way it looks, then that just kind of sucks because they unfortunately don't have any other color options, which Zen Habitats, hear me out. Black enclosures would be so cool. Imagine like a black enclosure with black panels and like gold. Or even silver would be good, or just black and black, like matte black. That would be so cool. Or white panels with black metal. Let's collab and create an enclosure design together. I do wish they came in other color options. I think it would cater to a larger demographic because when you have like such a specific color, it's just some people aren't gonna really like the way it looks. I personally do like the way it looks. I think that this color wood is very natural looking and it looks good with the live plants in it. So it doesn't bother me personally, but I know some people don't like it. Whereas the Exo-Terra, it's just glass, so like, there's like nothing you can really like or dislike about it. But what I like about the Zen Habitat more is that it's just one single panel for the door and it just opens in one swoop. It just bothers me that the Exo-Terra has the seam that goes down the middle, so it kind of like blocks your view. I just like the way it looks to look in the enclosure and not have a seam in the middle and just see it like a window that's nice and open without anything obstructing your view. And what's also nice about the Zen Habitat is all the sides except for the front are solid opaque panels, which is going to make any animal you put in there feel more secure than if you have all of the sides being see-through. Those are basically the main difference, just aesthetically, between these two enclosures. But what I want to really talk about is the durability and the functionality. So as far as durability goes, like I said, Exo-Terra is glass. Drawback to glass is glass shatters pretty easily. And obviously it's not going to be an issue unless you drop the tank or something, but I will say I have managed to shatter the Exo-Terra doors when doing stuff. I don't even need to get into it because it's mostly just my fault, but had the doors not been glass, they wouldn't have shattered. Let's just say that much. They shatter, that sucks. What's nice though is it doesn't scratch very easily. Ah yes, there is a dusted cricket on the floor. Hello, friend. Anyways, so as far as the acrylic door on this Zen Habitat, what's nice about the acrylic is it's not going to just shatter into a billion pieces. Now the only drawback with the acrylic door is it is going to scratch more easily than glass would. That's mostly only going to be an issue if you're keeping like a bearded dragon or a blue-tongued skink or something in this enclosure. If you're just doing geckos or snakes or anything like that, nothing should really scratch at the door. But if you're planning on getting a bearded dragon, then I'm assuming you're probably going more for the 4x2x2 Zen Habitat and not the 2x2x2. And for that enclosure, they actually offer replacement doors that are made out of tempered glass. So if you're worried about your bearded dragon scratching at the doors, then you can actually purchase glass doors for the Zen Habitat if you would like. And again, anodized aluminum frame. It's sturdy, solid. I could drop this enclosure and pretty sure, maybe I will drop it. Insert footage of me dropping this enclosure. Now insert footage of me dropping the Exo-Terra. Just kidding, I'm not gonna do that because it would shatter into a billion pieces. And like I said, the frame is plastic, which isn't going to be as durable, but also, is it really gonna be an issue? Because like, what are you doing to this that's going to break it? Probably nothing. As far as the screens go, the Exo-Terra screen is extremely flimsy. It breaks really easily. The Exo-Terra lids, I really am not a fan of. I've had them break before. It's just not a fun time. I've also heard in Facebook groups and stuff of people having like their cat or their dog or something jump on top of their Exo-Terra and the screen breaks through, and then their animal, obviously, whatever they're keeping in there either gets crushed or gets lost somewhere. The screen, it's literally just kind of like a window screen, so it's very easy to tear. There's no support really, or very little support under the screen inside the enclosure. So if something were to fall on it, it will break. Again, I'm going to test this later on in the video. As far as the Zen Habitats screen goes, again, it's galvanized steel. What's really nice is there's support beams under the screen that are metal, and it's just a very sturdy screen. It's much thicker, and it's just like, it's not going anywhere. It's not breaking. Like, nothing's gonna happen to the screen, you know? Like, it's just so much more sturdy than the Exo-Terra screen. I'm very confident that I could have Ellie jump on this, a 30-pound dog, and she would not break it. As far as warranty goes, Zen Habitats comes with a 3-year warranty. Exo-Terra, I'm not sure. I couldn't find any information about their warranty online, so I'm not really sure what their warranty is. But Zen's warranty is 3 years. And kind of going along with that, I will say Zen Habitats support, their team is amazing. If you have any issues with your enclosure, you can contact them and you'll hear back right away. They're very attentive. They want to help you. They want you to be satisfied with your enclosure. When you go on their website, a live chat pops up. Someone's immediately there to talk to you, answer any of your questions, help you with any issues. So although that doesn't have to do with the enclosure itself, it is very reassuring to me to know that if I had any issues, I'm not gonna have any problem getting a hold of someone and having someone help me with whatever issue I'm having. Whereas with Exo-Terra, they're a much larger company, harder to get a hold of. I've contacted Exo-Terra before without getting a response. So now the functionality of these two. I don't know if this would go under functionality, but the pro to Exo-Terra is obviously it's assembled. It comes to you assembled, you purchase it assembled. Zen Habitats comes to you disassembled. However, it's super easy to put together. It's basically just hammering these corner pieces into the aluminum frame and sliding the panels in. It's super easy. What I also love about the Zen Habitats is it is much lighter than the Exo-Terra. The Exo-Terra is quite heavy. That's saying a lot because the Exo-Terra, again, is smaller than the Zen, but the Zen is definitely lighter. And then as far as if you have multiple enclosures, the Zen Habitats are very easy to stack on top of each other. They sell stands, they sell spacers for them. So it's really easy to assemble them in a cool configuration that looks really nice and cohesive, and they just stack on top of each other. It just looks really good. As far as the Exo-Terra goes, I have stacked Exo-Terras before, but I'd say you could probably only safely stack like 2 of them, maybe 3. You can kind of stack them. They do make stands for Exo-Terras. Really, you can't really stack them if you want to put lights on them because there's not going to be enough room in between the enclosures. I don't think they really make any sort of spacer unless you can kind of rig something yourself. I just think most people who have Exo-Terras tend to get the garage shelving, which is what I'm currently using, and put all of the Exo-Terras on the garage shelving, just on different shelves. And it works really well, but I really like the way it looks to have enclosures with spacers. It just looks so much more clean, hides all of the cords and everything. And going along with the lighting thing, there isn't really an easy way to secure a light inside of the enclosure because, again, there aren't really support beams. The screen is very flimsy. It's just not a good lid, really. Whereas with the Zen Habitats, there's these support bars that goes across the enclosure on the inside, and you can actually use that to mount lights on the inside of the enclosure, which is really nice, and that's what I did for my tortoise. As far as working cords in and out of the enclosure, the Zen Habitats has a little thingy in the back. We're using really technical terms here, I know, that you can slip cords through, and it's small enough that an animal, unless it's like a teeny tiny snake, isn't going to slide through the hole. And there's also the option to put in just a solid plug in there if you don't want to have a hole there at all. So really fun and exciting news. My camera decided to just not record a certain portion of this video. So this is just me re-recording that. So I talked about the Zen Habitats like cord situation. So as far as the Exo-Terra goes, there are 2 areas on the back of the Exo-Terra on the screen lid where you can like slide a little thing to cover or uncover some holes to slip cords in. So this works pretty well. The only downside is you're kind of limited as far as things that fit through there. Most of your standard cords are going to fit in there perfectly fine. But if there's anything that's just a little bit thicker than the opening there that you want to try to slip into the back of the enclosure, you're just not going to be able to do it. So there is a little bit of a limit there, but for the most part, most things work completely fine. Another thing is Exo-Terras naturally have a bit of a lip before where the doors come up, and the Zen Habitats do not have any sort of lip, but Zens do come with a substrate shield that you can install separately if you want to. So if you're going to use substrate in the enclosure, you can just install the substrate shield so nothing's falling out or getting stuck in the door or anything like that. And then a downside to Zen Habitats is they are not watertight. Exo-Terras are made to hold water in the bottom. So if you want to do like a paludarium, for example, an Exo-Terra is going to be a much better option. I don't really think there's a very easy way to do that with the Zen Habitat. And as far as bioactive setups go, where you have a drainage layer or where you're misting and you don't want water to fall out, again, Exo-Terras are completely watertight, whereas Zen Habitats have like openings at the bottom where the panel slides in. If you were to pour water in there, it would just fall right out. However, there is a solution to that. Zen sells what they call a bio basin that you can put at the bottom of the enclosure to kind of cover all of the areas where water would seep out. And if you use this, then you can still have a drainage layer or just substrate that has some water that drains to the bottom. You won't have to worry about it leaking at all. Another really nice thing about the Zens is they come with a humidity shield, which you can use optionally, and it covers a portion, not the entire thing, but just a decent portion of the screen. So there's still going to be ventilation, but it's going to help hold in humidity a lot better if you have an animal in there that requires higher humidity. One of my favorite things about Zen Habitats that just sets them apart from really any other enclosure that you can get is that you can get extension kits and you can kind of connect the different Zen Habitats together to create whatever size enclosure you want. Like you could literally connect 50 of them together in a straight line to make an enclosure that's like 200 feet long if you really wanted to. You probably don't want to, but you could. You could do it if you wanted to. They also make like a corner extension kit, so you can put the enclosure in a corner of a room and it kind of like, you know, fits into the corner. It's just a really cool idea. I love that. So I used an extension kit to make an enclosure for my tortoise, and my tortoise is also gonna outgrow it. So when my tortoise outgrows the Zen Habitats and can no longer really be kept in an enclosure, I could either put something else, of course, in this really long Zen Habitat extension, or I could separate them and just have 2 separate enclosures. So it's really versatile, and it's nice that you can have like a big enclosure that's basically a bunch of smaller enclosures connected together. But if for whatever reason you no longer need that, then you can just disassemble them and have separate enclosures. The possibilities of what you can create are just endless. I will be dropping a 1-gallon jug of mango nectar to start out on the Exo-Terra, and then I'll do it on the Zen Habitats. We'll see who wins. Whoever wins gets to have Ellie on top of them next. I don't want it to fall through and shatter everything, so we're gonna try to prevent that a little bit. So it went through, as you can see. The screen just broke. And it also bent this quite a bit. So the Exo-Terra did not survive. Now we can try the Zen. Zen passed the mango test. Woo. Now, for the final round. Come here, Ellie! Hi! Hi, Ellie! The gallon of mango nectar was about 10 pounds, and Ellie is about 30 pounds, so this is the ultimate test. All right, Ellie, get up! Up! Up, Ellie! Come on, get up! Yes, good girl. Sit. Up, get up, back up. Wait, shh. Hey, Ellie! Hey! So what's nice about the Exo-Terra, it's basic, just your classic enclosure look. There's nothing to really hate about the way the Exo-Terra looks because it's just glass. It is a little bit more flimsy, certain parts of it at least, especially the lid, as we've tested. What's nice though is it is a little bit more affordable. Also is, remember, a little bit smaller. If you have an animal that's small enough to go in one of these, then, you know, it gets the job done. If you just need something basic, then the Exo-Terra would be, you know, perfectly a fine option overall. In my opinion, the Zen Habitat is just a little bit more durable and just functional, at least for me. Overall, I just really like how versatile the Zen is. You can connect them together, you can stack them, get spacers, all that stuff. A lot of that stuff might not matter as much to someone who just has like one pet reptile or just has like a single gecko or something. But if you're keeping a lot of reptiles or you're keeping larger reptiles, I really do think the Zens are a better option. And they also come in larger size options than the Exo-Terra. So yeah, those are the main differences between the two. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. And again, if any of you guys are interested in purchasing a Zen Habitat, make sure to check out my link down below. It's an affiliate link, so if you make your purchase using that link, I would just greatly appreciate it. If you want to purchase an Exo-Terra, I'd probably just go to the store because I don't think you want to pay to ship one of these. Just go to like, I don't know, anywhere really. They're everywhere. So I hope you guys found this video to be helpful. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new here. All my social media links will be down in the description below. And I will see you guys in my next video.